Welcome to the Blimey Cow Fancast. Guys, today's episode is monumental for the Blimey Cow Fancast because I am with none other than the Josh James Taylor himself. Josh, are you there?
Hey, I'm here.
Josh, it is so good to have you on this here Blimey Cow Fancast.
Yes, it's good to have the Blimey Cow Fancast exist.
You're much too kind.
Thank you for doing it.
Very well. That leads so very well into this first question that I have pulled up here. Are you ready? I'm going to ask you a series of questions.
Okay.
You can take as long or as little amount of time as you would like on said questions. Are you ready?
I think so. Hope so.
The first question is, how did you first hear about the Blimey Cow Fancast, and what were you thinking when you heard about said podcast?
I think that when I heard about the show, it was the Jordan Taylor Fancast at the time.
Correct.
And I believe at the first I probably heard about it was from a devotee of the show, Victory Ice.
Okay.
And she would always... It was probably her or like Emily Bretts. All those guys would message me and just be like, dude, have you heard this show? He has this recurring thing where he like talks about you and stuff on the show, and it's always so funny. He calls you Joshy Pop Lemon Drop. It's so funny. And so if ever anybody told me that it was like especially funny, I would go like pull up the episode and listen to it.
Yeah.
But then when it became the Blimey Cow Fancast, then that's when I started listening all the time.
All right. Great answer, Josh.
Thank you.
The second question comes from none other than my mother.
Oh, hey, Mom.
Are you ready for this?
Mom Mun.
My mother asked a very mom question. Are you ready for this?
I hope so.
It's so mom. Are you ready?
I'm ready for the mom question.
If you were to have a child, would you homeschool said child, and why?
Well, Mommy Mun, I believe I would homeschool said child. I don't know. We were homeschooled growing up. I enjoyed it quite well. I feel like I wouldn't be where I'm at if I had not been homeschooled. I wouldn't have had as much time to goof off and figure out what kinds of things I enjoyed while I was in middle school and high school. And I also kind of feel like the only thing that sort of derailed me figuring out what I wanted to do was going to college. And I feel like there was like a gap of time where I wasn't really doing stuff I really enjoyed for a few years. And then once I got out of college, it took me like a year to get back into what I enjoyed doing. And I probably kind of glossed over, but there were things I did enjoy while I was at school. I got to host my own radio show, which was a bug
really
that I had. Yeah, it was broadcast all throughout Nashville. So
what?
Yeah, so
you were famous even in college.
And I loved that part of it with all my heart. If that was all that college was, then college was the most fun thing ever.
Out of curiosity, where did you meet Kelly? Wasn't that at the college?
I met her in high school.
Okay.
We went to the same. Well, I say we went to the same homeschool co-op, but we only started going to the same homeschool co-op because I found out what co-op she was going to, and wanted to go to said co-op.
I see.
We met at a birthday party.
A birthday party.
Yes, a friend's 16th birthday party. I still have the invitation to this day. I kept it as
you guys just hit it off huge, huh?
Not exactly. But it was the long game, Malachi. I played the long game, and it eventually paid off for me. It was definitely a thing where I had to win her over a little bit, Malachi.
Oh, yeah. Well, it looks like you played your cards well in the long run.
I think I did, yes.
You got the girl in the end.
I got it, yes. I made it happen.
Classic Hallmark movie. All right. One question is, how did you know that Kelly was the girl that you wanted to marry?
Oh, boy.
Especially from such an early age, because normally you don't find the person that's going to be your wife when and you already like them like when you're like 16 or however old you were.
I have a personality that I just get like whatever I'm into, like the thing that I'm interested in, be it like a movie or a hobby, or if it's like a love interest, like I'm just like all in. And so like there were only like a very select. I never like I hear like I would have friends growing up like, oh, I dated this person, I dated that person, I had a crush on this person, I like was never that way. Like I was very much like, okay, this is the person. And then there was a specific like hard like cutoff, like no, now it's this person. And it only happened a few times, and so I feel like when I was 16, or I guess I was 17 when I met Kelly. And
you never hard cut off and moved on to someone else.
No, it was too late for me after I met Kelly. That was pretty much it. I tried to tell, like, once I thought it wasn't going to work out, I tried to kind of make myself move on a little bit. It's definitely, there was the years of drama, Malachi, that went into this relationship.
I mean,
years of drama.
As is in every relationship.
Yes. But I think we started dating like 3 years after we met. But I mean, pretty much from the night I met her, I thought she was cool, and we had a lot in common and stuff. But it just the timing was never quite right. We were young too. I mean, we were young when we got married. I think she was 16, I was 17. So we started dating when I was like 20 or something like that. And how did I know? I don't know. We just had a lot in common. And she was very easy to talk to. I don't know. I think it's the most cliche thing is sometimes I just knew Malachi. I just
there you go.
She was the one.
And how did you propose to Kelly? Because my thinking is you're very infatuated with Kelly. You had to play the long game.
Yeah.
You had to kind of go a little. You couldn't just go. She wasn't exactly recuperating the feelings the same way you were sending them out. She wasn't. So
that's right.
So my question is, you might be wanting to, once you start dating, pull out the ring at a pretty early time, and so you might have had to wait a little bit before you did, or did you just straight up go for it?
I mean, I knew I wanted to marry her like from the time we started dating, but I made sure I had a job and stuff set up. So and again, we were very young, so I think I proposed about, we started in August 28th, 2008. So it was a little over a year after we started dating. It was November of 2009 when I proposed, and then we got married the next summer. But I proposed, I took her, I found an excuse to take her back to the church where we met at the birthday party.
Really?
The
that's
church
cool.
The birthday party was at this church, and so I found a way to, we went on a date, and we happened to be driving past the church on our way back to my parents' house. Yeah. And so I had my brother give me a call and say, "Hey, I left my football," because at the time we were still going to that church, and so and so my brother called me, "Hey, I left my football at the church. Would you mind going by?" And basically had to make a big excuse, like, "Oh yeah, I know. I happen to know where the key is to get into this locked church and blah 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 and all that stuff, and turn the alarm off. I happen to know all this stuff." But thankfully the folks at the church were on board with it. So anyway, I just I kind of orchestrated us to end up in the exact spot where we first met. Because when we first met, Jordan and I used to record music together in the bedroom. We would just hit record and just have acoustic guitars and play like funny songs. So the night that we met, I was like handing out CDs to my friends because we had just put out one of our CDs. Mm-hmm. And so that was how
dropped a new mixtape.
Yeah, that's right. I was dropping a mixtape. Yeah, and nice. So that was how Kelly and I met. Was me like handing her one of my CDs. And making a fool of myself, and so I set up that same situation, and it was like, oh hey, this is exactly where we were when we first met, and then I got down on one knee and I pulled out that bling.
Nice.
She's crying. She says yes.
Oh, heartfelt.
It was good.
Wow. Yeah. My heart is moved.
Yes.
Now you started incorporating Kelly into your YouTube channel, Blimey Cow, very early on. Mm. How did that kind of start out, and what was Kelly's kind of idea, or what was she thinking, do you think, as she started being in these videos with you and she started seeing the other side of Josh, the very, very nerdy video type side of you? Yeah.
I mean, she knew what she was getting into when we got together. But, I mean, she definitely didn't. And that was definitely something that has evolved over time. I would say to this day, unless she's doing very specific things. Like there's certain characters she really enjoys playing on Messy Mondays and stuff. But overall, like she doesn't super enjoy being on camera a whole bunch. Like it's one of those things where she enjoys it because it's something fun we all do together. But like if she had her druthers, maybe it wouldn't be her favorite thing in the whole world to do.
Right.
But like I said, she has characters she really enjoys playing. Like whenever she gets to do the edgy Kelly character, she always has a good time with that and that sort of thing.
The whole goth Kelly type of thing.
Yes.
Kelly's acting has really evolved.
I know.
Lately, it's gotten a lot better than when she first started. Like, not saying she was a bad actress or anything. No, but she's gotten really talented at it, and it's like naturally fits into your guys's Messy Mondays and stuff. And she's just really good at it, and she's talented, and it really stands out, and I like it.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is just we kind of finding like, oh, here are the things that work well,
right?
For how you like to act. And I mean, it's the same thing that we've done with me and Jordan as well, where it's like, there's just certain characters we end up playing more often than not. Like I will end up playing more characters that are like offended by things or are reacting in like a disgusted way to something, just because that's like when I'm playing like a cartoon version of myself, that's easy for me to do. And Jordan probably has the most versatility of all of us, so that's why he kind of ends up playing just whatever is needed. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
From when you guys first started Messy Mondays, how did you kind of figure out that Jordan's gonna be the guy? And I'm not gonna really, because from early on, you weren't really in these Messy Mondays videos as much as Jordan was. Jordan was really the guy, and you were really behind the scenes. So how did you kind of come to that decision, or did it just kind of come natural?
It's just, I think it was just kind of a natural thing, and it kind of evolved just because back when we started like Jordan's messages, it just kind of became clear like, oh, I guess you're just sort of it. I think we just kind of decided it was funnier if within the show, kind of within the channel, it was like Jordan was in front of the camera and I was behind the camera, and not just in like the, I write the videos or I edit or, I'm recording it, but like in terms of like the whatever you would call it, like the storyline of whatever of the channel or whatnot. Just the idea that like I'm always behind the camera and Jordan will reference me and you'll hear me off camera. I've just always really liked that kind of humor, where you hear something but you don't see it. I've just always any time a TV show or a movie like does that kind of comedy, that makes me laugh so hard. So I just kind of naturally do that sort of humor too. And I think that Jordan is just naturally. I think there are certain times where I kind of understand, and there are certain characters that I kind of understand like what is funny or whatever. But a lot of times I feel like I have something like I can come up with funny ideas, but if I have to execute them myself, it doesn't come across as funny as I would like it to. Okay. But Jordan is way better at, if I have like a funny idea, like executing that idea and making it hilarious. So I think that in that way, it was sort of a natural thing. Yeah.
There's another question from Rebecca Hindmarch, or
yes.
Hindmarsh.
Yes.
And it says, what was one of the worst / hardest experiences of your life?
Oh boy.
How did you grow from it?
Ooh.
And how did it affect who you are and what you do today?
Wow.
A really deep,
That's a deep
question.
one, Malachi.
It is. And I'm kind of impressed, to be honest. That's a deep one.
Say impressed or depressed?
I'm impressed.
I'm
not
impressed. Okay, I'm depressed thinking
I'm
about
not
it.
facing depression right now. Worst / hardest experiences.
Wow. I don't know. I feel like I've had a pretty good life overall.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, my I don't know how dark you want this to get, Malachi. I mean,
Go dark.
My
Go dark.
mother-in-law passed away this year. I think that was probably like the hardest close death that I've ever had to kind of experience. That was very tough. She had early onset dementia, so over the last few years, we kind of watched her rapidly deteriorate. So I don't really know how that's shaped me as a person. Like, we're kind of currently going through that, still sort of walking through that experience. This just happened in May, but it's been going on for years, obviously.
Right.
So yeah, I couldn't really tell you how that has changed me as a person. I know. I mean, we had growing up, I didn't have the best experience with churches.
Okay.
And I don't have to get like super specific about all that, but just that has kind of created the experience where I have to be very careful not to get too cynical about certain things. And I think that's sort of reflected probably in our videos too, kind of like walking that line of like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, but I mean, overall, I feel like I've had a pretty good life so far. Not too much to complain about.
Yeah. One thing that I also wanted to mention is Jordan's recent success. So Jordan, on his personal YouTube channel, especially over the last year, it's just like skyrocketed.
I know, it's cool.
It's really gone crazy. And then the one 5 a.m. video is at like 2.3 million
it's
views.
Crazy.
Which is absolutely nuts. It's insane. How do you feel about Jordan's success as of lately and how he's like really escalated? Did you see that was going to happen when he made his personal channel? I know it was originally just supposed to be like a place for Ask Jordans and things, and he's really evolved it over the years, and I'm just interested in like your thoughts on that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's been about 3 years or so since he started that channel.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I've always said about kind of doing stuff on YouTube. You got to stick with it pretty consistently for like 3 years until you kind of figure out exactly what it is you like to do. And I think that Jordan's kind of now figured out what it is he likes to do, which is just whatever he wants to do with that channel,
which is working.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be consistent. It's just whatever he's like. He just put out a video yesterday, just talking about all the different home improvements he's made. But it's all very interesting. I think that kind of stuff is people very much enjoy it. And it does not surprise me in the least that he's doing so well. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And it's fun too because I mean, I think that like Jordan really enjoys doing video stuff. I think that if I hadn't been the one pushing to do video stuff when we were younger, this is not a path that he would have taken. But it's cool to see him do so well. And it's just the story of my life. Like anything he puts his mind to, he just gets really, really good at it. So at this point, it's not super surprising to me anymore. And it's really cool. Like I get really pumped when he sends me new videos he's working on. They're always really good. And they just keep getting better too. So yeah.
Yeah. If you back up a little bit to not when Jordan's personal channel got popular, but more to when Blimey Cow itself got popular, the 7 Lies About Homeschoolers video that kind of really took off. It kind of set a precedent for your channel that continued kind of from there with the Messy Mondays, and over the next like year or so, you came out with similar videos.
Yeah.
Do you think that you two, or maybe one of you guys would, and one of you guys would have continued on the path of being a YouTuber? Or do you think you guys might have stopped along the years if you hadn't seen the success?
I definitely would have kept doing it in some shape or form.
Okay.
That's an interesting question. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that after I graduated from college, I got the bug again that I just like I got a job that I didn't like, and I was miserable and restless, and I wanted to I didn't have any time to work on anything I wanted to work on, and Jordan was in college now, and so I basically got to a point where I was like, we either need to keep working on Blimey Cow, or I need to start my own channel. I need to do something. Like I gotta like start creating stuff again. I'm going crazy. Yeah. And so that was when we started Messy Mondays, because that was sort of the make or break. It was like either we just need to end Blimey Cow and just definitively say we're done with it, or we need to like do it consistently, because I just need to know if it would work. You know what I mean? Like there was never a time where we were doing it consistently, and there was never a time where we were doing a show that was meant to like be seen by more than just our friends.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why we started Messy Mondays, just to see like, hey, is there a way that we can do something we enjoy, but that maybe could get a little bit more successful? And what was funny was around the time of the 7 Lies About Homeschoolers videos was when I had sort of resigned myself to think that there wasn't really an audience for just the kind of videos that we make. Like even if we were trying to make videos, I'd even put out we had a blog back then, and I put out a blog post because we had put out a couple of videos that had done like okay. They had kind of spread out past our friends just a little bit. And we would start getting comments from people we didn't know saying like, oh, why aren't you guys more popular? Blah, blah, blah. And so I put out a blog post just saying like, look, we do like a really, really niche kind of humor. You've got to like, there's a lot, you have to check off a bunch of different boxes before you get our jokes. Like you have to have grown up in this like kind of conservative Bible Belt.
Yeah.
You have to like sort of be kind of questioning things that you thought about growing up, but you still kind of have to subscribe to what it was you believed growing up. You know what? Like there's sort of like this. I still don't really have a good way to explain it. Sort of this like cynicism, but like a friendly cynicism. Like these are still my people, but I kind of want to like poke fun at some of the silly stuff. You know what I mean? And so I had written a blog post saying basically like, you know, there's not an audience for this. You know, so if you enjoy our videos, you know, you're one of the crew, but this isn't something that's going to blow up. Then like 2 weeks later, we did that homeschool video and it blew up, and I was so pumped because I was like, well, wait, if there's an audience for these kind of jokes, then this is going to be great because I could do this every week. Like I could write something like from this perspective every week. That would be really easy, and it has been pretty easy over the years. It comes very naturally, and it's fun. I'm glad that people have kept watching so loyally over the years. It's been quite the blessing.
Yeah, and you did like since the video, you came out with like consistent Messy Mondays. You rarely would miss a week. Like it was very rare.
Yeah,
and you were coming out with them like year after year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized like as of recently, you started to almost shift. Like it's the same channel, the same stuff. But you've almost started to shift from a very strict format that you guys were kind of put into from the video blowing up and that being what people kind of expected to see to more being, you know, outside the black backdrop, different type of videos. Victoria, she said that, are you going to do any more Blimey Cow skits like the gift one?
The gift. Yeah. I mean, I think we've been sort of trying to kind of what would the term be? Sort of like
changing direction almost.
Yeah, kind of lead people in and say like, hey, sometimes we might do something a little different, you know, because I feel like there's been times where we've tried that before and it was just like, oh, just do, you know, just keep doing Messy Mondays. You know, why are you doing something different? I don't like this as much. And anytime that would happen, we were like, well, I guess we'll just keep working on Messy Mondays because we like doing Messy Mondays. You know what I mean? But it's fun to try other things. So I think we're trying to a little bit of a different approach this time where it's like it always like is basically Messy Mondays.
Right, but you're stepping out of the box just a little more.
Yeah. So that if there, you know, is a week where we do something like kind of completely different, it doesn't come as much of like a shock or a surprise. Like I just kind of I eventually want to get people to a place where, kind of like with Jordan's channel, where you don't know exactly what it's going to be each week. I would like that as long as you know, we always have the messy Mondays to fall back on because it's such a great format, and I feel so lucky that we kind of fell into it. Yeah, because it's such like a memeable format, and it's really easy to do, and in terms of like I should say it's easy to do in terms of shooting. Like writing it is always difficult because writing it can be interesting just because it's a black backdrop. You have to be thinking about, well, how do we keep this interesting? Because if it's just somebody talking in front of a black backdrop, they need to be saying something super interesting the whole way through, or else you need to find some way to keep it entertaining, or else people are going to tune out. So that's been always kind of the challenge with that show. But I like that. I think that's fun, and it's kind of encouraged me to keep trying different things. And now that kind of to that point where it's like, well, what if we just didn't use the black backdrop quite as much? What if we tried something different? And so we've been enjoying that a lot. And it seems like now people are cool with it, and now we get comments more in line with like, hey, it's cool that you guys are kind of trying some new things, and so that's really cool. Like I feel like people are more primed for it now. which has been very encouraging. So it's like it feels a lot more freeing now, not just think, okay, if I can't think of a Messy Mondays idea this week, then people are going to be upset. You know what I mean? Like now it's like, well, is there something else we can try this week? Like what is something else that people might enjoy? So
take me through, like, I know you might not want to go too deep into it, but like what's the kind of process that you go through for like writing a video for Blimey Cow?
I feel like normally I just sort of think about like what's annoying me that week. And I think, is there a way for that? Is there a way to like turn that into a video? And that's usually that. I mean, that's normally where it starts. Like, at least if it's one I'm really excited about.
Right.
Other times it's just like, oh, it like there will be like a title. One of us will think of like a title. Oh, that would be interesting. Video idea. Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, let's write a video around this idea. But other times, if it's one I'm excited about, it's like there's been something that's been annoying me or bothering me, or maybe something about myself I'm trying to figure out. And then eventually I'm like, oh, yeah, I can make a video about that. And then normally, regardless of what kind of video it is, I normally like will come up with one joke. And if I can think of one joke that gets me excited, then I jot that down. Then it's easy to kind of build a video around that joke. And so it's been more interesting lately just because there's been times we haven't used the black backdrop quite as much. But I think the fact that we haven't done that makes it more fun when we do use the black backdrop. And I think sort of the rule we've a little bit adopted is that other than like Big Head Kid, and we break this rule sometimes, but like other than Big Head Kid, normally if it's going to be all of like the characters like Hipster Josh and YOLO and Edgy Kelly and all, like those characters exist within the black backdrop Messy Mondays world. Like they don't really exist outside of that world, and so that we've kind of used that rule a little bit, and I mean rules are made to be broken, but at the same time, like it's kind of a rule of thumb that could be funny to subvert one day. But that's sort of what we've adopted because sometimes we'll be like, oh, maybe we could shoot this off of the black backdrop. But it's like, well, maybe those characters should stay in the anyway. So these are all the kind of things that we think about when we're. That's
interesting because I've never really thought about it, but now that you mention it, that is true. Like I've seen Big Head Kid away from it.
Yeah, and I think,
but I've not really ever seen the other ones.
Well, and Big Head Kid kind of started off of the black backdrop. He's a character that became a part of Messy Monday, so it kind of makes sense. But the other ones, like we've done it before where they've been outside of the set, but for the most part, that's kind of where they live. And anyway, so I mean. That's really most of it. Just trying to. It's sort of the thing of like, come up with something that's sort of bothering me or that I'm thinking a lot about, or maybe something that's going on in the world, and then kind of figure out like, well, what's like an interesting take on it that maybe people are thinking but they don't really know how to verbalize. That's sort of, because that's how I feel in real life. Like if I'm in a conversation or I'm in an experience or something. I'm talking to somebody, I'm trying to like figure out like, well, what is this person trying to say, or how do I relate to this person? And so I feel like I kind of pull that into writing as well, where I'm always thinking like, well, how are people gonna like how do I relate to people in a way where we're saying stuff that they're thinking but they don't really know how to verbalize, and in that way it kind of is helpful to them. So that's when I feel like when I'm writing good stuff, that's kind of where it goes.
And I feel like it's nice to have like kind of the patron community to kind of give you ideas if you need them, or like different ideas for a title and stuff. I know you sometimes throw that up there.
Yes, that's
and
cool.
I feel like that can be helpful.
Yeah.
However, there have been patrons and other people of Blimey Cow that have been almost trying to help you out on a certain series of Blimey Cow called Jordan's Messages. By sending in fake news. Fake messages on Jordan's Messages.
Yes.
How do you weed out the bad question? How do you weed out the questions, and how do you know if they're fake?
Here's the thing. I don't know how much of this to share because I don't want people to get around how I figure it out.
Okay.
But I'll say that after years and years of reading through thousands of messages, I can tell when the details are too weird. Like we got one time I don't know. And it's yeah. There got one more time where it was like, oh, I'm a twin, and my sister was busy, and so I went out with her boyfriend so that she didn't have to, but he thought it was her instead of me, and then she kissed me, and now I'm in love. It's just all like, look, if it's something like that, like over it. Fake news. Not happening. Normally, I feel like they're and I mean sometimes they slip by me. I'll admit it.
Right.
But I think that normally the details are a little sloppy and a little messy, and it's like
a little too perfect sometimes.
A little,
too.
Yeah. Like for a real message, it's like I just think, could somebody have thought of this? Like, unless this really happened, could somebody have come up with this situation? That's, I guess, what it normally is. And maybe they outsmart me, but I'm just saying, I've read so many thousands of these things, I can tell in the first 2 sentences normally if what I'm reading is legit or not. And that's not to say they haven't got past me before, because they have, and I'll admit it.
I mean, people have gotten past your method, but do you tend to try to lean towards like the safe side? Because it's hard because they're writing in questions about like relationship advice and things. And you can easily make up a fake thing, but then it also makes the real things sometimes a real good question sometimes seem too perfect, and then you can't use it.
Right.
It'd just be nice if we just started, not having these people sending in these fake messages. Wouldn't that make life a little easier?
I feel like there's sometimes where I just go on the inbox and like just the first 4 are like perfect, and it's like, oh, that's great. And other times I'm like scrolling for like an hour, like going through like 1,000 of them, like just trying to find, because they're all like, they're normally so generic. It's just like, I have this girl I like, and I think maybe she likes me, but I don't know, what do I do? Like they're like, a lot of them are just like that, and it's like, I mean, they're like. There's
only so many of those you can use,
right? Like for messages, there needs to be some sort of thing that really makes it like some sort of weird thing that we've not come across before,
right?
And
something new,
and it's tougher because we've been doing it so often, and that's why it takes so long to go through all of them. Because sometimes there's like a funny one, I'm like, but I have to think like, oh, what would Jordan actually say about this? Probably something he said before. We'll just do we'll do a different one. But now normally we'll record like 5 or 6 of them.
Oh,
and
really?
Usually, and then 5 or 6 questions, and Jordan will answer them. And then normally there's like 4 that are
I saw you normally do like 2, and then like sponsored by Audible, and then 2.
So exactly. So
it's starting to have a little bit of a consistency to it. The amount of questions. And it's awesome. I love the variation in the questions and how it's and then Jordan always answers. It's so funny. It's awesome.
It's such a fun show because, like, I feel like that show is the best reflection of our personalities, like in real life.
It's iconic at this point.
Yeah, so it's fun that people like that. It's cool that it's had like this resurgence this year, and like it's like some weeks it's more popular than Messy Mondays, a show that takes like days and days to put together.
I've seen that. I've seen like the stats, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's like so funny and also demoralizing at the same time, but also encouraging when Messy just does better than Messy Mondays, because it's like, what? I spent like 3 days on this episode, and Messages we like record in like 20 or 30 minutes.
I remember there was one Messages where you started out and Jordan was like, okay, start the timer. And then it was like done and it was like 20 minutes. And you were like, see guys?
Yeah.
Or whatever. It was so funny. All right, let's finish out this amazing recording.
This has been real fun.
Amazing time I've had with you.
Yes, good times.
With an audio call-in that we got.
Oh, this is exciting.
From Victory Ice.
Okay, I'm ready.
The Victory Ice. Sent in a call-in.
The Victory.
And the title of it is Hi Joshy Pop Lemon Drop. So
okay.
What's inside it could be anything really.
All right, I'm ready.
So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. Let's see what you got to say about it. Ready?
All right, I have a question for Josh. And my question is, if you could visit any place in the world, where would it be and why? And my stipulations are that you cannot say Tennessee, anywhere in Tennessee, and you cannot say any Disney-related place anywhere in the world. So you have to pick something other than Disney and not home.
All right, so that's the question, and I can almost say with a fact that you weren't gonna say any place in Tennessee.
I mean,
I don't think that would have been your answer.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm picking some, I mean, there are some beautiful spots in Tennessee, but I've seen them all so many times. Yeah. Obviously, I would go visit Victory in Ohio. Like, that would be the first place I would go.
Well, right.
But
That goes without saying.
if I was picking somewhere else, I mean, I really enjoyed visiting Colorado. That's a fun
What in Colorado
spot.
did you like? Because I just think of Colorado as like bare nothingness.
Oh, it's the beautiful mountains, Malachi.
Mountains.
The Rockies.
The Rockies.
We went and visited.
What did you do up in
Denver
Colorado? Did you
and,
stay somewhere?
I don't know. We just we stayed at one of those like extended stay places for like a week. Kelly and I did for like our second anniversary, and I don't know. We just kind of hung out. We didn't do too much. We just kind of went
peaceful
into Denver and went to Colorado Springs and just kind of hung out. Went and saw like Garden of the Gods and went into the mountain areas kind of north of Denver. Would
that be your pick?
Probably Colorado. I mean, that spot just because Kelly really enjoys that place too, and if I went somewhere, I'd go with her. So anywhere out west. Kelly wants to go to the Grand Canyon too. She's never visited the Grand Canyon, so that's a place I'd love to take her at some point in the future.
That'd be a great trip to go on.
Yes.
Me and you have completely different answers, okay? Because without her sending in this call-in, I asked my boss the same question.
Yeah.
Last week. Except my question to him was, if you could be anywhere in the world right now, and it can't be a place you've already been.
Oh, okay.
Where would it be? And my answer is, although I've been there when I was 5, New York City.
Oh, fun.
I would want to go to New York City, try out the best pizzas, go to Broadway, do all these things.
Yep.
And that would be my answer. And he said like Tokyo.
Nice.
So both city places, and your answer was Colorado, which is like almost the exact opposite. So
if I had to pick somewhere I haven't been before, I would definitely pick Canada, just because I have so many friends up there. It'd be fun to go like to the Toronto area and go see.
Have you ever been outside of America?
I have been to the very edge of Mexico. Like we've crossed the border and gone to like the like tourist area where like the people of Mexico sell things to the people of America. But I haven't been into like real Mexico. I have crossed the border, but I haven't been like, actually into the I didn't get past the touristy areas.
Yeah, we have family in Canada, up in New Brunswick, so I've been to Canada before. But it's a nice place.
That's fun.
I don't think it's too vastly different from America.
Yeah,
I find it pretty similar.
Yeah, it would be all of my Canadian friends I meet and see when they come here, so it would be fun to go visit them up in their native land.
Yeah. I also had one last question before you go.
I'm ready.
Brother Time Season 3.
Yes.
When, Josh?
When? It's happening next year. I don't know quite when, but I have the story figured out. It's something I think about every single day working out the story, and I'm sorry that it has taken so long. But the fact
don't
that
be
people
sorry.
care,
don't be sorry. We don't accept apologies here in the Blimey Cow community.
The fact that people care,
we accept content.
I really should just put it together because I don't know. Like I shouldn't like take advantage of the fact that people are so interested. I should be like, they could like not care tomorrow, and then
are you gonna make like a big production out of it? I feel like Brother Time Season 2 was that way, where you kind of had it was kind of a big deal.
I want it to be more chill. I don't want it to feel like as big a thing.
And if I'm not mistaken, did you say this was the final season?
Yeah, this is the last season of Brother.
The last season.
This is the end of the story. So like everything that's sort of built up in the second season all comes crashing down in season 3.
Could you visualize possibly once Brother Time ends, another series opening up?
Yes, 100%. Like there would have to be. It would either be a new series or we would just start doing sketches to go back to Vehectory's question. There would get like that would because it's like the thing is like if we think about doing skits or sketches or whatever now, it's like, well, we just should work on Brother Time, and then it's like, well, I gotta finish writing it. You know what I mean? But like, but that's been hanging over my head for like as long as we've been doing Messy Mondays, basically. That like, I want to tell more of that story. So now, if that story was done, then I don't even know what that feeling would be like to have that story done. So, but I do know how it ends. and I just have to figure out exactly how to get there. So I'm very excited.
I can speak for the rest of the Blimey Cow community when I say that we are very excited.
Thank you, Malachi.
And we will patiently wait.
Will you be reviewing? Will you be reviewing each episode on the Fancast?
I tell you what, I'll make a promise to you. Each episode, each brother time episode, will get its own episode of the Blimey Cow Fancast.
I want a Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Walking Dead sort of like after show with like fan theories and like this is why he said this and this is how this ties into that.
Breaking down all the conspiracies, going into the most minute detail. Why did they show Singular Kevin's face in the mirror in Brother Time Season 2?
Yeah. Where were they going for there? Yeah.
There has to be some hidden reasons.
That'd be fun.
At first, I thought that Micah, my brother, I thought he was a genius for discovering that. I thought he discovered something you never saw. I thought it was genius. I was like, you're right. Oh my goodness.
That Kevin is in that shot?
What an oversight. They didn't, yeah.
It was an accident, but then what was funny was I wanted to reshoot it. I was like, no, let's do it. This was the story of shooting Brother Time Season 2, and this is why I wanted it to be different than the new season to be, because I was so high-strung that whole time. I was so worried about making sure everything looked just right and perfect and that it looked professional. Nobody was having fun because I was so up in arms the whole time. So I was like, oh, Kevin was in the shot. We need to do it again. And everyone was like, no, it's funny that Kevin was in the shot. I was like, but Kevin is... No, it's fine, Josh. It's fine. And at that point,
let's just be done.
At that point, it was like the last episode, and I think that I was just like, I can't keep just making. This has been going on so long. I was like, okay. You guys are probably right. Anyways, I just want it to be. Yeah. I want the next. I want it to be fun to shoot the next season. Like it wasn't. And it was my fault. It was my fault. It wasn't fun. I just want it to be fun.
Might be.
But it's good. I think I know kind of a better how to handle it this time so that we all have a good time shooting it like we did for season 1. So hopefully it shows on screen. How
old were you guys in season 1?
In what? I would have been like 17.
Oh my
17,
goodness.
18, 19. I mean, it went on for a couple of years the first season.
What was crazy to me is how long ago Brother Time Season 2 was.
Yeah, it's been 3 years now. Just over 3 years.
3 years.
You believe that? What do you think's going to happen in season 3, Malachi?
In season 3, let's see.
Now that I know exactly what's going to happen.
Jordan is going to find Sarah.
Okay.
Sarah's going to be his girl he's got his eyes on.
Okay.
And Sarah's going to dump him.
Okay.
And Jordan's going to somehow come back to live with you and Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys... have some brother time.
Nice.
There you go. That's the season
good.
right there.
Pretty good. I guess
and
I will
you're the
rewrite
writer
it.
And I am the watcher.
No, I'm going to rewrite it. It's pretty good.
Just rewrite it. You're a genius.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even care that everyone heard it.
Nice.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on.
Oh, Malachi.
Today's episode of the Blimey Cow Fancast.
I can't even look. The fact that the show even exists in the first place.
I mean, let's be honest, Josh. You deserve it. After all these years of hard work, you deserve
This is the least I deserve. A fan
the least you deserve is a fan cast.
No, this is seriously, like, I appreciate all the effort you put into this show. I can't even, every time I listen to this show, I'm like, I can't believe somebody actually puts effort into like something that's just about something that I work on. Like, that's really cool. So I really appreciate it. I feel very undeserving, but I'm grateful.
Oh, well, thank you, Josh. Thank you so much. Also, yeah, but just thanks, Josh, for being on today's episode.
Oh, dude. 100%.
And I would like to request that you finish off today's episode of the Blimey Cow Fancast the way that I've been finishing off my episodes.
Absolutely. Beautiful.
But this isn't my episode. This is our episode.
Don't be messy. And leave good call-ins.